The war ended with celebrations, speeches, and promises of a new beginning. Across Europe, cities were liberated, flags were raised, and soldiers prepared to return home. But for her, the end of the war did not feel like an ending at all. It felt like a transition from one kind of struggle to another. She returned wearing the same uniform she had worn in service, the same discipline, the same sense of duty. But the reception was different. Overseas, her work had been necessary. At home, it was inconvenient. The uniform that once gave her purpose now felt strangely invisible. Coming back to America meant returning to familiar boundaries, segregated neighborhoods, limited opportunities, quiet reminders of where she was allowed to stand. The country she had served was proud of its victory, but not yet ready to fully acknowledge everyone who helped achieve it. Like many Black women veterans, she expected that service would matter, that sacrifice would count for something, that the uniform would open doors. Instead, she found that many doors remained closed, and some that had briefly opened were now firmly shut again. Veterans' benefits existed in theory. In practice, they were unevenly applied. Paperwork was delayed. Appointments were postponed. Offices that welcomed white veterans often treated Black women with indifference or suspicion. Each step forward required persistence. Each rejection reinforced a familiar lesson. The system was not built with her in mind. Still, she kept moving. She searched for work using the skills she had gained during the war: organization, precision, responsibility, leadership. But employers often saw only what they expected to see. Her experience was questioned, her authority minimized, her service quietly overlooked. She took jobs beneath her qualifications because survival required flexibility. Pride was reshaped into endurance. The discipline learned in uniform now served a different purpose, not victory, but stability. At home, she rarely spoke about the war, not because it wasn't important, but because few people asked. When she did mention it, reactions were brief, polite, uncomfortable. Her story did not fit the popular image of a veteran, so she carried it quietly. Years passed. The country moved on. New conflicts emerged. New generations grew up knowing World War II through textbooks and films that rarely included faces like hers. Her service became a private memory rather than a public record, yet its impact remained. In her household, discipline mattered, responsibility mattered, perseverance mattered. These values were not abstract. They had been tested under pressure, forged in an environment that demanded excellence without offering fairness. To those around her, she was more than a veteran. She was an example, proof that dignity could exist without applause, that strength did not require recognition. Only decades later did the tone begin to shift. Historians started asking new questions. Archivists uncovered forgotten records. Museums slowly expanded their narratives. Stories like hers began to surface, not as exceptions, but as patterns. Recognition came late, often too late. For many women like her, acknowledgement arrived after retirement, after illness, or after death. Medals were awarded posthumously. Certificates were printed. Names were added to lists that should have included them all along. The war she fought overseas had ended in victory. The war she fought at home ended more quietly, not with surrender, but with persistence. Her story is not unique. It is one of many. A reminder that history is not only shaped by those who are celebrated, but also by those who endure. And while her country may not have been ready to see her then, History is learning slowly to look back.